Hello students, we will be discussing about the money supply in this particular video, and we will be discussing that whether the money supply is helping us or not. The very first point is that if the money supply increases, it leads to inflation. Why is it leading to inflation? Why we are not getting the points, or why we are not getting rid of the poverty? Why is it not possible? So the reason is that the person who are having the money, they will get more money. The more money will lead to more purchasing power. Purchasing power is judged by the producers, and they will be charging more money. They will be charging prices, higher prices, and this situation, the situation in which higher prices are charged from people, this particular situation is known as inflation. So inflation is not a good thing. It is not a good situation for any economy. It is very uncertain. It leads to many problems, so we have to overcome that situation. So when we are talking about that situation, there should be someone who, or authority, whatever is there, has to act, has to come in front and control the money supply. So this is done by the fiscal and the monetary policies. All these are in the hands of either the government is having the control over the policy in the which is having government's control is known as the fiscal policy, while the other one is the monetary policy, which is controlled by the Central Bank of India, and the Central Bank of India is RBI. So you have to be very much clear that fiscal policy is in the hands of government, and the other policy, the monetary policy, it is with the RBI. So RBI acts as credit controlling authority of India. So it is very important. It is very important function of RBI. So it is one of the important function that it controls the credit. So you have to be very clear that credit is controlled by what? By government, or the monetary authority is our RBI. The second situation we have to talk is that the prices of goods, when they fall, is it good for us or it is bad for us? First of all, you should be very clear that a producer wants to satisfy his needs. The basic thing what he or she has to do is to satisfy his or her needs. First is that he is giving some cost to the factors. He has paid some cost to the factors he has bought. So he wants that at least, if he is not getting profits, at least that cost is fulfilled. Okay, that particular cost should be fulfilled. It should be, the person should get at least that amount of money. The price should be at least that much, equal to the cost. So when we are talking about this cost, we have to be very much clear that cost is when the producer is producing certain thing. Before that, the things which he wants, the intermediate goods which are required to produce a certain thing, is known as the cost of that thing. And the other thing which we are talking is price. So price is charged, but in such situation in which money supply is not much, in which money supply is very less, in that particular situation, what happens is that a person is not having that much purchasing power. He or she is not ready to take the things on higher prices. Even sometimes the situation is like that, the person is not even ready to pay at least amount also. The least amount which the person is giving, the producer is giving, the consumer, the customer is not ready to buy at that also. Why is it so? The purchasing power is acting here. So this situation is known as deflation. So both the situation, when the money supply is more and when the money supply is less, both are not good for us. So what we have to do is, we don't have to go in both the situations. Both are bad. Firstly, I have discussed that the increased money supply is bad. It leads to inflation. It is controlled by RBI. So there should be a person who is acting here also. RBI acts here also, controls the credit, increases also, decreases also. But how it controls? It acts upon his policies, on the policies of RBI. And one more person or one more bank is there which acts on this part, is your commercial banks. They create credit. What is credit creation and what is control? What is credit control? All these things we have to discuss in the further chapter, and we are starting with that chapter. That particular chapter is your 19th chapter, and in this video I'll be starting that chapter. The name of the chapter is Commercial Banks and the Central Bank of India. Both banks are very much important for us, and I have told you that commercial banks are responsible for credit creation while the RBI is responsible for credit control. It is having different methods of credit control. Very first thing we will be discussing is our banks. What are banks? Why is the requirement there? And do the banks also get some profit, or they are not getting any profit? They are just acting as intermediaries. So all these things we have to study in this particular video. Now we will be discussing that what is a bank. A bank is an intermediary. It acts as an intermediary between the person who is depositing, that is a person who is a depositor, and another person who is a person who wants something, like he wants to borrow the money, he wants to get it. Okay, the person who is coming, a person is coming, he is a depositor and he will deposit the money. He will be given a rate of interest on that. If he is depositing the money with the bank will be giving certain rate of interest on that money he has deposited, while the other person who is borrowing the money will be charged a higher rate of interest. He is getting the money, as the bank is lending the money, so bank will be charging more amount of rate of interest on that particular amount, and then the difference between the two rate of interest is the profit earned by the banks. This we can discuss in detail also. So next is your types of banks. The types we have to discuss. The very first one is your commercial banks, the banks which deals with the savings, deposits, investment of the person who is investing in the banks. All these things are dealt in the public. All the banks which are acting as the intermediaries between these things is known as the commercial bank, and they act in the public. They are for the public dealings. Next is your saving banks. Although the commercial banks are also having the saving part, but there are certain other banks also which are for the small savings, which means that they are giving you a time period and they want you to save your amount, your particular money with them for a particular period of time, and then after that they will be charging a nominal rate of interest on them, on the amount of money you have deposited, and then they will be returning it to you. So the reason behind the setup of these banks was the saving. The people should save. So this particular bank helps to save in small amounts. Like you can say the post office is also helping in such activities. And these banks are having certain conditions that you can't withdraw your money with this period. Within this period you have to complete the period of this much time you have to complete, and then we will be giving you back your money. Next is your exchange banks. They are particularly the banks which are dealing with the international trade. They are dealing internationally, and the exchange which is done internationally is kept into this bank, or they are dealing in this activity. And the other shipping loans, advance loans, all these things are under this type of banks, exchange banks, exim banks we also call them. The next is your industrial bank. Industrial bank is giving long-term loans. It is for the long-term loans, and the interest rate charged on the industrial activities are also kept into mind, and all the things, the profit earning time period and all these things are kept into the mind, and then the bank charges the rate of interest, and the term of the loan is also as per that. So it is the one who is giving the long-term loans. Next is your cooperative banks. These are particularly for helping the poor people, the agriculture people. Okay, they help them as they give the short term as well as the middle term loan, not the long term loans. These particular banks are not for the not for the long term loans. They are for the short and the medium term loans for the farmers and the artisans also. The small scale industries can get the loans from these banks, the cooperative banks. Next we will be talking about the agriculture development bank, and this particular bank is now known as agricultural development bank. Earlier it was known as the land mortgage bank, which means that we have to keep mortgage our land, we have to keep our property, we have to mortgage that, and for keeping that as mortgage, against that we will be getting the loan. So these banks act on this policy only. They want a certain security to keep it with them and then they give you the loan. Next is your central bank. This is also known as the bankers bank, and the government's bank is also this only, and this particular bank is RBI. It is the Reserve Bank of India. It is very important for us and it helps to maintain the money supply all over the India. Even the monetary policy is also in the hands of this particular bank. Next we will be talking about the international bank. What is it for? It is International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, and this bank is also the World Bank. It gives the loan for the developing countries and the rate of interest is charged on that particular loan. The banks, the countries can get the loan from this particular bank if they want to do something in the reconstruction field or they want to develop. They will be doing this. So these are the all types of banks. The very first one was the commercial banks, the second one was your saving, third one was your exchange bank. Next is your international. We have discussed about that. The industrial bank, you can say the international bank, we have also discussed that. The cooperative banks we have discussed. Then is agricultural development banks, also known as the land mortgage banks. And last one is your central bank. We have discussed all the 8 types of banks which you have to discuss. And next is your function of commercial banks. So commercial banks, as I have told you, that the very main function is the credit creation, but along with that they act in many other fields also. They work for them also. They function in that way also. First of all is your saving bank deposit. We can save there, we can open a saving bank account and we can save in that particular account. We can go and deposit the money over there and we will be getting a rate of interest on that particular saving. And you should be knowing that the rate of interest is different on each and every bank account, which means that if you are doing RDs, that is recurring deposits, that is under this only, the saving deposits, saving accounts. And in this particular recurring deposit, you are getting the rate of interest which is different. In FDs it is different. In simple banks, that is your the amount in present in your bank, it is different. So next type is receiving the deposit. This we have discussing that what kind of deposit it receives. The very first one we have discussed is your saving bank deposit. The second one is your current account deposit. In current account deposits, we know that this is known as demand deposit. And even the businessman who are having the money issues or they want to withdraw and even deposit the money on regular basis, even on daily basis they do sometimes. So there is no restriction on this part. On this particular current account, there is no such restriction on the number of deposits or number of withdrawals. So this is mostly used by the businessman. And the saving bank deposits, you know that after certain transactions the money is charged. So they are the saving banks. They are basically for your savings. So they want you to restrict your withdrawals. This is the reason they charge money after certain amount you have withdrawn, or after the limit has been put that after the 3 transactions you will be charged money, or after the 4 transactions, after the 2 transactions. In certain ways they want to control your money withdrawals. So next is your fixed deposit accounts. These are also known as the time deposits or the term deposits. This you know very well, that when we go to the bank and ask them for the FD, they ask you that what time period you want, whether it is for 1 year, for 2 years, for 3 years, for 4 years, for 10 years, whatever you want. They go and make a paper on which it has been written that it is for 2 years, it is for 1 year, and the interest rates charged on that is also written on that. After the particular time period it gets matured and then you can withdraw it. If you withdraw it in between, you can withdraw, but if you withdraw in between, you will not get that particular rate of interest. So this is the difference between all these bank accounts: saving, current and fixed deposits. Next is extending loans and advances. What do you mean by loan? They give the loans. They give the cash credit, which means the cash is given. The person who wants to get the money, he is given in cash. The demand loans, these can be recalled back anytime by the bank. They can ask for the money to be given to them in whatever period they want. They will ask about it. So next one is your short-term loans. They are for a certain period of time, but a very short period is talked about. Okay, so interest is charged on the entire amount. Even the interest is also charged on this, and interest is also charged on demand loans also. We have to pay the interest rate, but they are different. For short term it's different, for cash credit it is different, and for demand, for short term, all the three, they are different. Next we will be discussing about the transfer of the funds, the third function, that is the transfer of the funds. What kind of funds are sanctioned by the commercial banks? The very first one is your drafts. Drafts are from one branch to the other branch. If a branch is sanctioning the draft, if it is marking, it is sending a check, it is like a check sent from one branch to the another branch. So the draft is sent from one branch to the another branch of the bank. It is the check from one to another branch. The next one is your mail transfers. This is also done on the advice. Okay, it is on the advice of the one branch of the bank that to mail this much amount of the money to the person, to the beneficiary, as the branch is having the account. So it will request the other branch to give that amount of money from on their advice. Okay, if a person is having the account in Pathankot and wants to withdraw money from the other branch, the person will be given the amount, but it will be done on the advice of the particular branch in which the person is having the account. Next is your traveler's check. Traveler's check is given by a commercial bank to the traveler who wants to travel within the country, and even if he or she wants to go abroad. Next is your foreign remittances. These are affected by your bills of exchange, you can say, and they are discounted by the commercial banks only. Okay, so these are affected by your bills of exchange bills, and are affected by what? These are affected by your these are discounted by your commercial banks. And you can say if a person is earning certain amount of money and wants to send that amount of money to his or her parents, like I'm sitting here and I want to transfer certain amount of money to the person sitting in Canada, in America, wherever he or she is, so that is included under remittances. So this is for foreign remittances. If the foreign remittances are coming, then the commercial bank will be discounting that and giving that to the person whom it is for. Next is your online transfers. This you know very well that online transfers are very efficient and very secure mode of transfer. They give you the OTP and then the transaction is done. Without OTP the transaction is not done. So this is the way they are doing and making the things secure for us. The transfers in all these ways, these drafts, these mail transfers, your traveler checks, foreign remittances and online transfers, all this is done cheaply. They want that they should not make it expensive. They are doing all these things cheaply, plus they are doing this efficiently. This is very effective, and also they are doing it to maintain the security. They want to make you secure. They want your money to be in secure hands. Next are the subsidiaries and the general utility services which are done by the commercial banks, and these are very simple, like collection and payments of check, bill of exchange, all these are collected and payment is also done. If a payment is to be done, that is done by these banks, and if it is to be collected, it is collected by them. Next is acting as trustees, attorneys for their customers. They act as the attorneys, they act as the trustee, they are the one responsible for our trust, so they act as that. Next is payment of insurance, premium, rent, etc. on behalf of their customers. The payment is also done, like if a person is having LIC policy or any other policy, the payment is done directly. They are doing the commercial bank is doing time to time. If they are getting the you can say a message, then they will transfer the money on their own from your bank. They are doing this on your part. Okay, providing locker facilities, this is very important, and you all must be aware of this thing, that our parents, they want to, if they want to keep something safe, they want to keep certain amount of money, or you can, money is not included in the this particular locker facility, but the valuable things like gold, silver, all the valuable things, or whatever which is important to you or valuable to you, and you want to keep it safe, you can keep it in the locker. You have to pay the charges for that annually, quarterly, or whatever your bank wants to do. You do it, the payment is done in that way, and then you make the payment and get the locker. Okay, we have to discuss the types of the loan extended by the commercial banks. We have discussed this earlier also, but we will be discussing it in detail, that what are these loans, and what is the very first one, that is your cash credit. In this particular cash credit or this type of loan, the cash is given on a security. The security, you have to keep that with the bank, and the cash is given to you on the basis of that, and it is kept in mind that the amount of the security, either it is more than the amount paid to you, the cash given to you, or it is equal to that. The thing which you have kept as a security will not be accepted if the price you are asking, means if you want to get the loan of 10,000 rupees, you have to keep a valuable thing, you have to keep that, and that particular thing as security should be equal to 10,000 rupees, or it should be more than of 10,000 rupees. And this is your cash credit loan by the bank. Another point which is important is that the amount of cash withdrawal is checked by the bank. That I have told you, that the security is checked, that whether it is valuable, that much value it is having or not. Next is your overdraft. The clients who are very much interested, which means, I mean to say, which are very much the person who are of trust, the bank thinks that they are very trustworthy to them, they are given the overdrafts, which means that overdraft means that if you are having current account with current account or any account with them, if you are having particularly current account with them, then this is given to you. If you are having 10,000 rupees, then your requirement for loan is 12,000 rupees. You can withdraw that amount. Okay, you can withdraw that amount, and the 2,000 rupees which is given you is known as the overdraft. They trust you, and that is the reason they are giving you more than you are having. Next is your demand loans. There is the fixed amount for this type of loans, and they get mature. They get mature at a particular time. They have the specific maturity period, and the interest starts from the very first day. The day one you have asked for the loan, you have taken it. It is your choice to take the loan, the whole loan. If you are taking of 1 crores, you have to keep the property or the valuable thing, whatever you are having, of that amount with them, and you can withdraw it in installments also, and you can withdraw it in whole amount also, you can withdraw. So if you want to withdraw it in installments, it is as per your choice, but the bank is not responsible for that. Bank will be charging the loan, the interest will be charged from the very first day you have taken the loan, whether you have took the full amount or you have taken the small amount of that or the installment of that. Next is your short-term loans. These are for the short term, as the name states, and also one more thing is that they are the secured loans, as they are offered against the security. So these are known as the secured loans, and these are of two types. These are like personal loans are there, and the second one is the loans to finance working capital. So these are the secure or the short term loans, and in this also you have to take the entire amount on the day one, and the interest is charged on that particular amount, and also you have to keep the security with the bank. So these were the types of the loans which are given by the commercial banks. Now the very important part is there, the credit creation. We will not be discussing this part in this particular video. It may be done in the next video. I personally want that I should do the next video on central bank and its functions, and after that whatever the situation will be, as you know, the lockdown is up to 3rd May and we are not aware of the situation after that also. So keeping in mind all these things, I'll be thinking about which topic I have to cover in the next video, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, stay home, stay safe, and if you have any problem, leave the problem in the comment section. Mention the comment over there. I'll be answering your problem, and whatever way, if you want to talk to me also, you can talk to me, as you know the source how to talk to me. And also another thing, that we are done with the 18th chapter. If there is any problem in that also, let me know. Do the questions mentioned in the your first of all, I want you to do the previous year questions. Okay, the PYQs I want you to do first, and then we will be doing the other questions also. You have the brief notes. I have told you how to make the notes. You have done that in the class also. You have to make the notes in that way only. You have to make the bullet notes. You don't have to write in big paragraphs as they are written in your books. I don't want you to waste your time on that, so don't do that. Make the bullet notes, and then you have to write the important questions, and the ones which are from your previous year part, they are very much important to you, so don't forget to do that and focus on those questions. If you have any problem in those questions, let me know. You have to complete your 18th chapter, and you also have to do some questions are there which are from this part. You have to do that, the commercial bank, the functions of the commercial bank. The very important one is the credit creation, and the second one is your credit control. It will be done later on. First of all, we will be doing the general functions, general types of banks. We have done this. Commercial bank we have done. We will be covering the next, that is your central bank and its functions, in the next video. Thank you.